Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduna salli ala Rasulil Kareem. Dear students, we are going to discuss about some major topics of biochemistry, that are lipids and carbohydrates. We have started the new chapter. Okay, basically there are four types of biomolecules in your course: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and nucleic acid. We will discuss each and every topic in detail, inshallah, along with its uses and sources. First of all, let's learn something about organic compounds. Organic compounds are the compounds that contain carbon and make up living organisms. I have discussed in detail in the chapter of organic compounds. Carbon is the backbone of life because we all are organic compounds. We are organic. Organic compounds. Basically, it used to be thought that only living things could synthesize the complicated carbon compounds, yani organic compounds found in the cell. German chemists in 1800s learned how to do this in lab, showing that organic compounds can be created from non-organic means. So the above theory rejected. The theory was called vital force theory, that organic compounds can only be synthesized or living by living organisms. But when the German chemist synthesized organic compounds from non-living thing, then the above vital force theory rejected. Today, organic compounds are those compounds that contain carbon, with few exceptions such as carbon dioxide and diamonds. We have discussed in detail in organic compound chapter. Why is the carbon backbone of life? Why is it special? Because carbon has 4 electrons in its outermost shell. To satisfy the octet rule, it needs to share 4 electrons. This means that each carbon atom forms 4 bonds. So carbon can form bonds with itself or other atoms by the and this property is known as its catenation. Similarly, carbon can also form multiple bonds, double and triple bonds with itself as well as other atoms. Carbon molecules are categorized into 3 types of molecules: straight chain, ring chain, and branch chain. I hope the figure from the figure you will understand about these types. Macromolecule, large molecules that make up living things. They are large chains of smaller molecules. It means giant molecules, very large number of molecules, when thousands and millions and trillions of small molecules make a long chain, a bigger molecule, then this is known as macromolecule. Similarly, monomer. All the macroorganic molecules are made up of smaller subunits called monomers. This is just the base unit that repeats over and over again. The monomers can be identical or different. For example, amino acid structure. We will discuss the structure of amino acid in detail in the protein topic. Polymer. Organic molecules are made up of repeating monomers. These chains of monomers are called polymers. We will discuss polymer. We will discuss the examples of polymer in the topic DNA or nucleic acid. Condensation reaction. The reaction in which water is removed, or the removal of water to connect monomers. The large chain is then bonded to form polymer. For example, hydrogen from NH2, one hydrogen from NH2 and OH from this carboxylic acid combined together and removed as water. So NH links directly with C double bond O, like in this case. So this is condensation reaction in which water molecule is removed. and the resulting monomers are connected to each other. We will discuss this topic again in detail in uh, protein topic, inshallah. So here we are going to start our basic topics, our important topics. Most organic molecules in the cell are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. We will discuss all the four topics in detail. These molecules are usually in the form of polymers, long chains of similar subunits. What are polymers? I have discussed in the previous slide, that when monomers, the smaller units, combine with each other or connect with each other to form large chain of molecule. Okay. The cell also contains water, inorganic salt, and ions and other small organic molecules. So once again, the four groups of organic compounds: carbohydrates, proteins, lipid, and nucleic acid. First, we are going to discuss about the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They are the monomer of ketone and aldehyde, polyhydroxyaldehyde, and ketone. Sorry, polymers of polyhydroxyaldehyde and ketone. For example, glucose is carbohydrate. Remember, the ratio of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen will be 1:2:1. For example, in glucose, the molecular formula is C6H12O6, and the empirical formula of glucose is C1H2O1, or in other words CH2O. So after simplifying the formulas of carbohydrate molecules, we will find that the ratio between the atoms, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, are 1:2:1. Okay. Function: carbohydrates are the main source of energy. Plants and some animals use it for structural purposes. There are also another function, uses, and sources mentioned in your book. You have to learn all the points. I have just mentioned few of them. Carbohydrates are made up of monomers called monosaccharides. Or in other words, we can classify carbohydrates into monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. Monosaccharide is the basic unit of carbohydrates. Example of monosaccharide are glucose, which plant produce during photosynthesis, galactose, found in milk and dairy, and fructose, sugar in many fruits. The structure formula of glucose is given in this figure, C6H12 and O6. It forms ring. This is the structural formula of fructose. And remember, this lactose is disaccharide, having two monomers or two unit molecules of sugar. So two monomers of monosaccharide, like in this case, together are called disaccharide. For example, sucrose. When glucose and fructose condense together, eliminating the water molecule, the resulting substance is known as disaccharide. Okay. When two monomers react together and water molecule is eliminated as condensation reaction, the resulting molecule is known as disaccharide. Or simple, di means two, saccharide means sugar, having two sugar molecules. For example, sucrose, having two sugar molecules, glucose and fructose, by alpha and beta glycosidic linkage. Or in other words, when glucose react with fructose, the water molecule releases by condensation reaction, and disaccharide is formed, which is known as sucrose. Similarly, glucose and galactose react together to form maltose. It is also disaccharide, having two sugar units. Polysaccharide is a long chain of monosaccharide. So we have discussed the monosaccharide and disaccharide. The third type of carbohydrate is polysaccharide. It is long chain of monosaccharide joined together. For example, glycogen, which store energy, starch, it is present in plant, or in other words, animals store energy, extra energy in the form of glycogen, and plants store energy in the form of starch. And is also present in plants as cell wall in the form of cellulose. This is the structure of starch, having large number, thousands of units of simple sugar or monomers or monosaccharide. Amylose and cellulose are the examples of polysaccharide, having large number of thousands of small monomers uh, attached with each other as a result of condensation reaction. The next topic is lipids. The definition for lipid is a large group of organic compounds that are not soluble in water. They're also made up of carbon and hydrogen with very little oxygen. The function is to store energy for a long time, and they are waterproof covering. Wax is an example, oil is an example, margarine or ghee is an example, fatty acid, ceramide, etc. Cholesterol, cholesterol, etc. are the examples of lipids. There are four main categories of lipids: fats, oils, waxes, and steroids. Basically, fats are of two types: unsaturated, sorry, fats are of two types of trans configuration and cis configuration. For example, when the two groups are same across the double bond or on the same phase, then this isomer will be known as cis isomer. And whether same groups are opposite to the double bond or triple bond, then this isomer is known as trans isomer or trans configuration. So fats can be found as trans isomer as well as cis isomer because of having multiple bond. Structure of lipid. Fats, oils, waxes, and steroids. Okay. Structure of lipid. There's a little bit confusion. I think it is mistakenly written as fat. You should not write here the word fat. Okay. This is the general example for the lipids. How I will discuss in detail in the very next slides. Okay, lipids. Structure of lipid: glycerol molecule combined with fatty acid. The different fatty acid determine the types of lipid. For example, this is glycerol having 3 hydroxyl or OH groups, and this is the formula of 3 fatty acid. So as a result of condensation reaction, one water molecule will eliminated, and this glycerol will attach to the 3 fatty acid molecules. That's why they're also known as triglycerides or triglycerols. Lipids are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and very little nitrogen. This is glycerol unit, and these 3 are the fatty acid tails. So this compound, the larger compound, is also known as triglyceride or triglycerol, that is mentioned in your book. All lipids are non-soluble in water. That's why they're placed together. Lipids may be saturated or unsaturated. Unsaturated mean having double or triple bond. So saturated are solid at room temperature, and unsaturated are liquid at room temperature. Okay. Remember, all the oils which are liquid at room temperature are unsaturated hydrocarbons or unsaturated lipids, and all the solid butter or margarine or ghee or banaspati ghee that are solid at room temperature or saturated. Okay, we'll discuss about proteins in the next lecture. Okay, Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much.